Hey guys, welcome to Encounter. It's game time. Woo! So the game that we're going to play is the Whisper Challenge. As you can see, Ben's got headphones on, he's listening to some music. I am going to try and whisper a phrase to him while he's listening to very loud music. And he's got to try and guess what it is I'm saying. You ready? Are you ready? What are you listening to?
Escape Artist by Norwich for Christ.
That's a good song.
It's a great song.
Right, round one, I'm starting. Lollipop lady. Lollipop lady.
I'm a pot of paint.
No. Lollipop lady.
Lollicopter.
No, that's not a thing.
Oh.
No.
Oh, so this is my last guess.
Yeah. Right, ready?
Yeah.
Lollipop lady.
Lolly. I got lolly.
You got, yeah, well done. Half a point.
Lolly! Round two. Where's Wally?
Waist wallet.
No.
Is that a thing? Say again.
Where's Wally?
Weight Watchers.
No. Where's Wally?
I think I know it.
Yeah?
I think. Is it Where's Wally?
It is Where's Wally.
Yeah! Round three. This one's going to be good. Denver Broncos.
No, I think yeah, I don't.
I don't think I moved my mouth enough.
No, you're like.
Okay. Denver Broncos.
I've been bonkers.
No. Denver Broncos.
Dancer.
Broncos.
Broncos.
Dancer Broncos. No.
Dancer Broncos.
Denver Broncos.
Oh! Denver Broncos!
Yeah!
Denver Broncos! Yes.
Denver Broncos. How she hits these notes are...
Round number 4. Are you ready? Willy Wonka.
I can't say that. Do it again. Millie Millions. Final answer.
No. Wonka.
I'm trying to think of the kind of thing that you would think of. Again?
Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka. Is that right?
Yeah, 'cause I
Yeah.
just shouted it at you, And at the end of that, there's no clear winner because we weren't really sure on the rules.
Good game. Great game. Good game.
You're really good at this.
In a few minutes, we're going to carry on our History of Jesus series with Nick. But first, I'm going to pray and then we're going to hear a worship song. So, God, I just thank you that you always keep your promises towards us. Amen.
I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire in the darkest nights. You were close like no other. I've known you as a father. I've known you as a friend. And I have lived in the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down and surrendered now, I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down and surrendered now, I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Oh, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God.
You still just cannot get your act together, can you, on the field?
Yeah, that's right. I think there's a consistency, a lack of consistency in the side that reflects all the new players that come in.
In 1990, Alex Ferguson had been the manager at Manchester United for 3 years. But they hadn't won any trophies, and it was said that he was one game away from getting the sack. By his retirement, he spent 27 seasons at the club, winning 13 Premier League titles, more than any other manager in football history, as well as 2 Champions League titles, 5 FA Cups, 4 League Cups and 1 European Cup Winners' Cup.
And Manchester United have taken the lead.
After such a poor start, how did he make this amazing achievement?
Manchester United have won the FA Cup and equalled the record of 7 outright wins. Manchester United celebrate Alex Ferguson's first major trophy at Old Trafford.
In one interview, Ferguson said that winning a game is only a short-term gain. You can lose the next one. But building a club brings stability and consistency. In our last episode, we explored that when God's people messed up, it was so serious they had to sacrifice an animal, literally spilling blood to pay for their wrongdoing. But when Jesus came, he broke that cycle. There was no longer a need for any other animal sacrifices. He was the ultimate sacrifice. This was a huge cost. The Son of God ransomed for us, stripped, humiliated, and dying in an agonizing way. And we might wonder, why would he choose to do that when his people seem to turn away from him so often? Part of the reason to the answer to that lies with a guy called Abraham. Abraham, or Abram as he was to start with, lived just shortly after Noah, and he had a really strong relationship with God. He followed and trusted him, and God protected Abraham. It was a little bit like a kind of Kevin Hart and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson relationship. Kevin Hart as the little guy, Abraham, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as the big guy, except the big guy in this case is the God of the universe. With God on his side, you may think that Abraham had it all. But there was one thing that he really wanted more than anything else: a son. In Genesis 15, we read about a conversation between Abraham and God, where God says, "Do not be afraid, Abraham. I am your shield, your very great..." Why am I reading in a... Have I just got to do this? Is this... "I am your shield, your very great reward." But Abraham said, "Sovereign Lord, what can you give me, since I remain childless, and the one who will inherit my estate is Eliezer of Damascus?" And Abraham said, "You have given me no children, so a servant in my household will be my heir." It's very posh. Then the word of the Lord came to him, "The man shall not be your heir, but a son who is your own flesh and blood will be your heir." He took him outside and said, "Look at the sky and count the stars, if indeed you can count them." Then he said, "So shall your offspring be." Abraham believed the Lord, and he credited it to him as righteousness. It's at this point that God makes a covenant with Abraham. Covenants were common practice in ancient Near Eastern world, and they were kind of a formalising of a relationship, often made between friends or even kings. And it was a commitment that both of them were bound to, whereby both parties made promises to each other. So God and Abraham make a covenant with each other. They both make promises. Abraham promises to follow God no matter what, forsaking other religions and other ideas. And God would protect and bless Abraham, not only giving him a son, but a great nation. Long story short, when Abraham is very old and against all the odds, he has a son who he calls Isaac. Finally, Abraham has a son whom he loves, and an heir for his name to continue. But the story doesn't end there, because God wants to test Abraham. In Genesis 22, it says, "And God said, take your son, your only son whom you love, Isaac, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on a mountain." Does that really say that? Here's the thing you need to know. As awful as it sounds, child sacrifice was common practice at the time. Lots of other faiths would have sacrificed children in order to please their gods. When God requests this of Abraham, Abraham doesn't flinch. Perhaps even reasoning that God would bring back Isaac from the dead. But that doesn't make it any easier. This is Abraham's only son, the one who he's been hoping for. As tests go, this is unimaginable. After a 3-day trek, they arrive at their destination. Isaac is old enough to carry the wood, and he comes alongside and even asks a telling question: where is the lamb to be offered for this sacrifice? God will provide it, Abraham says. They build an altar from the wood, and then Abraham binds up his son, lays him on the altar, ready to be sacrificed. He takes the knife, but God intervenes. "It's enough, you don't need to make this sacrifice. You've shown me that you are faithful only to me." Abraham has passed the test, willing to follow him no matter what. And then a ram appears in a bush, and they sacrifice that instead. Isaac grows up, has children of his own, and their children have children, and this becomes the start of the Jewish nation. And God's covenant commitment continues with Abraham's family all the way through. They were his chosen people. And even when they messed up, God stayed faithful to them throughout. And it's out of this Jewish nation that Jesus is born.
One man who's been part of the tapestry of the history of this club has won 5 FA Cups.
So, how did Fergie win all of those trophies? Essentially, the key to his success was to think long term, and he focused on the youth team of the future. He looked at how he could train and invest into the youth team, bring them up, even focused on those who showed real excellence. And even in the days where he had Ryan Giggs, Paul Scholes and David Beckham, he was still looking at the next youth team and who he could bring up into that squad. He always had his eye on the future, he was committed to it to the long term, and the club's directors were committed to Alex Ferguson as well.
Club World Cup and 13 Premier League titles. The impossible dream made possible by the greatest British manager ever, Sir Alex Ferguson.
The story of Abraham's testing is a fascinating one because it all points somewhere else. Isaac is the only beloved son. He's the hope of Abraham's world. He's a source of all blessing. And he's trudging up the hill with wood on his back about to be sacrificed. Mount Moriah was on a hill near where Jerusalem was built. Everything about this story was a prophetic foreshadowing of Jesus' sacrifice on the cross. Abraham even says that a lamb will be provided, but of course they sacrificed a ram. The lamb was provided, but thousands of years later in the person of Jesus. Jesus, the Lamb of God. This long-term strategy from God starts with Abraham, leads to the sacrifice of Jesus, is all because of his covenant commitment to his people. But surprisingly, this isn't just for the Jewish nation, because Jesus extends this offer to the whole world. A new covenant that is open to all who want to follow him. God is committed to us, literally doing the unimaginable to rescue us. He has sacrificed his son because he loves you so much. And just like Abraham, God has passed the test and shown his faithfulness and commitment to us. But here's the thing, for a covenant to be valid, both parties have to agree to it. Are you willing to follow Jesus and forsake all others and be faithful to him? Because it's only then that you reap the full rewards of this covenant agreement. What might be stopping you from entering into such a relationship? And we'll be exploring more of that in our next episode as we round off this series, A History of Jesus.
We hope you enjoyed what Nick talked about in this video. Why don't you discuss it with a youth leader where you are, or you can drop us a comment in the comment section of this video and we can keep in touch. There are loads of other ways to contact us. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitch, we're on Discord, we're on YouTube. You can like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.
Ding-a-ling.
Ding-a-ling. Join us next month for a finale of the history of Jesus. But before you go, I just want to show you something I've been working on, okay? I've been practicing my invisibility. So ready? Here we go. Oh, it works! I can't see you, you can't see me.
Idiot.